taking a loss in sports is not the end of the world for anybody. And I think whether you win or lose, and there's always something you can learn. And I think adversity is something that I think we need to try and look at and try and through sports anyway, especially through sports. It's a good learning experience. When things aren't going your way, that's kind of adversity. You got to learn how to deal with it and try and overcome it. So overcoming adversity is something that I think it's something that you can learn a little bit, but it's something that you kind of, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, it's hard to learn. Hard to learn how to do that, especially in sports. That's mainly talking about sports, but really in life in general too. My thoughts are sports are kind of a microcosm of life. You're gonna have adversity. You're gonna have all these things that don't go your way. Whether it's in sports or in life, you're going to have things that don't go your way, and you're going to have to learn how to overcome those. That's why I think sports, especially, like youth sports, whether it's, actual youth sports or get up into high school and stuff like that. That's why I think those are so important, because they do teach you how to overcome adversity. Because whether you like it or not, you're going to have adversity throughout your life. And it's how you respond to that adversity as to how you will grow. Learning how to respond to it, learning how to overcome it is key to personal growth. Like I said, whether that's in life or in sports. Today's Sunday. I was watching college football yesterday, and there were several. I watched three or four different games, and every one of them, you could see the adversity and see the teams, how they were trying to learn how to overcome, how they were overcoming that adversity. My son wrestles. I help coach wrestling. My son wrestles. I've seen him overcome adversity. Last year, he won his first ever wrestling tournament. In order to do so, he had to come from behind by 7 points to win his final match, to win that tournament. That is overcoming adversity, and I could not be more proud of how he did that, because he learned from that. He learned from his losses. He learned how to respond to those matches, how to fix what he didn't do last time, and how to overcome that adversity when he got in that situation again. And I think that's something that, as a coach, it's really hard to teach without just that experience of just the kids experiencing it. And it's really hard for in life to tell somebody how to do it without them actually just going through it. It's something. Adversity is one of those things that, no matter how much you teach, how much you try and help, it's ultimately comes down to they have to figure out how to overcome it themselves. Because everybody deals with it differently. Everybody deals with adversity in a different way. And there's no necessarily right or wrong way to deal with it. But you still have to learn how to overcome it your way. And it's something that, like I said, it's important. It's really important to learn how to overcome that. And something that you can work on it, you can practice. Like in wrestling, we deal with what we call situational wrestling, where you get in a situation, a lot of times not in the best situation to be in, and you have to learn how to overcome that. You have to learn how to get out of that. And we're trying to teach, as a coach, you try and teach the kids how to get out of situations, but they have to learn how to do it themselves. They have to remember how to do it. They have to know how to do it, and they have to get in that situation, recognize the adversity they're in, and understand what they need to do, remember what they need to do, and get out and actually do it. And that just comes from experience in sports. And those experiences in sports are going to teach those kids how to overcome that in real life, because then they're going to start looking for ways to get out of that adversity when they're in their lives later on, because they've been in situations and they got out of them. And it teaches them how to look at different things. And I think that's the biggest thing as a coach, especially as a coach. It's not necessarily teaching this or that. It's also trying to teach kids how to think for themselves in these situations. And if you can do that, and if you can teach these kids how to think for themselves and figure things out themselves, with your, with the base, your fundamentals, in sports, you're going to have your fundamentals, you're going to have your base, then teach them how to think for themselves and kind of maybe even improvise at times. You can really become a more successful coach, and you'll have better athletes, and you'll help build up better people, better citizens for later on that can overcome these, and they become productive citizens. They become productive people later on, and that is what sports, especially in school, school age kids, that's what these sports are ultimately all about, is getting these kids to be productive, and to teach them, to help them grow to become productive adults.